Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a good day out there. Today we have a very exciting episode on how to integrate Twitter login into our Firebase social login series. So let's go ahead and quickly look at a very brief demo as to what your application will look like by the end of today's video. And then we'll talk about the actual integration process for Twitter. So the application right here, we have Twitter login, this little blue button at the very bottom. And if I click on it, it's not very interesting right now. But what's happening behind the scenes is it's actually grabbing the Twitter user from twitter.com itself. And then what will happen is we will take that Twitter user and dump it into Firebase authentication right here. And so currently it's not there because the application isn't fully functional right now. But by the end of the video, we'll get it to actually work. So let's go ahead and talk about what the necessary steps are to get all of this stuff working. And the first thing you really need is a Fabric account. And for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with Fabric, it's simply this right here. So Fabric is Twitter's development framework for developers that want to use a lot of their developer tools such as Crashlytics and Digits and whatnot. And what we are mainly interested in today is the actual Twitter login, Twitter kit that comes with Fabric. So the first thing you will need is a Fabric account. And then secondly, we'll install the necessary pods that will allow us to integrate that Twitter login button. And then finally, we'll actually do the implementation and then create a Twitter app that allows us to perform the authentication process. So might sound like a lot, but we'll get through it together. Okay. So the first thing to actually do is go to get.fabric.io right here, and you want to click on this Getting Started with Fabric button on the very bottom. And after you kind of sign up right here, what will eventually happen is they'll send you an email that looks kind of like this right here. Hope you guys can see it. And you want to confirm that that email, and it's going to look something like this right here. So after you hit that confirm, it's going to send you to fabric.io/onboard. And here is what you will probably end up doing. You click on the Apple icon, and it's going to send you off to this download process that eventually downloads this Fabric zip file. You unzip it, you install it on your computer, and then you're kind of ready to start off the integration process. And if you have the setup done properly, it'll actually tell you to log in with this little Fabric piece of software that's installed on your computer now. If you don't have this, then you're probably not going to be able to finish the entire process. So make sure you have the software installed properly. Okay, so with that all being set up, you kind of want to move on to something else here. So let me just drag that off the screen. And let's actually do this right here. Fabric, let's see, Fabric iOS Twitter install. So if you Google that and click on, I think it's this right here, Twitter for iOS Fabric install. It's going to take you to this page right here. And it's going to first tell you to install the Twitter SDK with Cocoapods. So let's go ahead and click right here. So if you click on this, it'll copy this into your clipboard. And if I go back to my terminal, let me just do this right here. Going back to my terminal, I have this bit of code that I need to type, which is, let's see, open pod file. So if I just type in ls right here, this is the directory of my current project. I'm going to type open pod file, and this is going to open it up in this text editor. At the very bottom, let's just remove this use frameworks because it's already up here. We're going to specify the configuration of Fabric and Twitter kit Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. And with that configuration introduced in the pod file, we'll hit pod install, which will install Twitter Core and Twitter Kit right here, along with Fabric, the SDK. So that's how you would install the Twitter pods. If I open, let's see, Firebase, what is this, XC workspace right here? I have my project right here. I can build it and run it, and everything looks pretty solid right now. So the question now is, how do I implement that Twitter login button? So let's just kill everything here and run the application again. Hopefully my my simulator will come back to me right now. So here it is. This is the current app without the Twitter login button, and we want to implement this button right there. So let's just shrink this to the corner and get some more space. And here we go. So the first thing we want to do is to actually add in this button right here. And it's actually pretty easy if you do this right here. First, you want to import Twitter Kit like that. And right below one of these setup functions right here, I'm just going to create another function that is private called setup Twitter button. And then right below, we'll say setup Twitter button as the final function that sets up all of our login buttons right here. And now we can specify a Twitter button. So let Twitter button equals Twitter, see login, TWT login button like that. And then we'll use this login completion constructor right here. Then enter, you'll get the session, and then you'll get the error. Okay. Now we will say if let error equals this error guy being passed back to us from the completion handler, we'll just print fail to log in as via Twitter. I think that's a pretty good message. Finally, we will specify error at the very end of that print statement. Here we go. Otherwise, we'll say print successfully. Let's see, am I spelling that correctly? Successfully logged in under Twitter. There we go. So that's the button right here. Now, to get it into the actual frame of your application, we just need to say view add subview of this Twitter button like so. And I believe this is giving me an error because I'm missing a comma like that. Okay. So if you run the application now, you won't see the Twitter button in the correct location. And that's because you don't have a frame on this Twitter button yet. So let's specify a frame equals something. And to get it neatly under this orange button right here, I'm going to take this setup Google buttons. I'm going to take this frame right here. Remember this frame? I'm just going to paste it right here, adding an additional 66, and then running the application. Hopefully the button will show up, and we'll see what happens when you click on the button. So there we go. Application is up and ready. We have our login with Twitter button as I kind of promised. So clicking on this will crash our application. And let's drag in this little console area. Let's see what we need in order to get this Twitter sign in to work properly. And at the very bottom, we have a huge error message. And the first of which is it's telling you that you need to initialize Fabric before you can actually call these Twitter functions. And then we have another error message with this consumer key and consumer secret that we have to actually set up as well. So the first error is to fix app delegate right here. So we're inside of app delegate. I'm going to import Fabric and then also import Twitter Kit. I think Twitter Kit's what I need. Might be Twitter Core, but let's see. Okay, now we want to go into did finish launching with applications. And this right here is going to say this. We're going to, let's see right here. We're going to initiate Fabric with classes. And this takes an array of some of the things that you need, which is this twitter.self. And let's now run the application and see if the error is still there. Okay, so apples are running. Okay, and now it's crashing because it's telling us that the value of info plist key for fabric must be NS dictionary. And the reason why this is happening is because we have not finished setting up this this installation process for Fabric Twitter. Okay, so hopefully you guys have a pretty good picture as to what the application looks like right now. We just have our Twitter button. So if you scroll down a little bit, so after the Cocoapods installation, you have something that might be a little confusing to you guys if you haven't set this up before. And so here's the thing. I've set up Twitter login quite a few times, so I'm going to try to emulate what this process looks like for an account that hasn't been set up before. So if you are on this page, you will need to log in, and let's hit that login button right here. I'm going to log in at my account. Let's see if I can type this out right. And let's see, is this not correct? All right, so I'm logged in, and now the page actually looks a little different. It tells you what you need to copy into your project right here. So run the script build phase. Let's take a look at this right here. So you see this little GIF that Twitter is showing you right there. You need to click to copy this piece of code, and inside of Xcode right here, you want to go into build phases, and at the very end you can hit this plus guy right here, hit new run script phase, and open up the little twirly guy, click here, and paste in that bit of code you got from the actual guide. So whatever that says right there. And I'm going to hit build now. And it actually runs this piece of code when you hit build. And also what you can do is you can now hit this like create application button right here. And so some of you guys might not be seeing these applications right here, but if you have this Fabric software set up properly, and if you hit the build, you should be able to see a couple of applications that have the bundle ID that your Xcode project has set up or has been set up under. So there we go. We have this kind of up and ready. If you go down to the very bottom right here, it's now telling you to enter this information into your plist file. So all you have to do is you click this area right here that's highlighted, and then you can go into your plist right here, into your project, info plist, open as source code. And here, I'm going to paste that bit of information. Now, the important thing about this dictionary is that you now have this API key string set up. And as you notice, the application runs now without this crash. So let's see what happens if I click on login with Twitter. Okay, so no more crash. However, the very bottom console area, it says failed to log in via Twitter. And the reason is because it could not authenticate you underneath the Twitter OAuth process. And so what does this mean? What does this mean? That's a very good question. And obviously the first time I encountered this error, I didn't really know what it meant either. So let me just go ahead and tell you what it actually means. In order to get Twitter auth working, you need to provide the consumer key and the consumer secret inside of these two areas right here. The guide doesn't really tell you to do so, which is a little confusing, or maybe it does, but because I always go through my guides pretty quickly, sometimes I neglect to do so. So to get the consumer key and secret, you need to go to apps, see apps.twitter.com. And let's see, I'm currently not signed in, so make sure you are signed in with one of your applications here. So let's see if this works. I have a little too many accounts here. So let's see, does this work? I don't know if this works for me. So let's use another one right here. This is the problem of having way too many accounts. So there we are. If you want to get a consumer key for an application, you need to either use an existing one or create another one. So Firebase social login. Let's see, doing some login tests, and here we'll just specify some random website, and callback URL is not important. So let's just check this developer agreement, create your Twitter application. This is going to create that app, and everything should be okay. The consumer key and secret is in this keys and access tokens tab at the very top. And I'm going to copy this guy right here, the consumer key, paste it in here, and let's see, consumer secret, and paste it in here. And let's try to run this. So obviously you don't want to let anyone know what your keys and secrets are, because once someone has a hold of it, they can really do some nasty things with your application. So those two fields are set up now. If I click on this, it's going to, at the very bottom, say successfully logged in under Twitter. So that means that I can start the integration process to use this Twitter user and log in with Firebase as well. So let's go back to view controller right here. And underneath where it says successfully logged in under Twitter, let me just comment that out for now. And we can, let's log in with Firebase. Okay. So Firebase, what is the actual call that you need to call? You need to say Firebase auth and log in. Let's see, sign in. So sign in with Firebase auth credentials and this completion handler. Okay, that's what you need to call. But what is the first parameter that we need to fill in? It's pretty easy if you use this let credentials equals Firebase. Let's see, FIR Twitter auth provider dot credential. And you need a token and a secret to properly set up these credentials, which is very, very easily retrieved from this session variable passed back to us from the Twitter auth process. So let's just use a guard statement to make this crash free, hopefully. Okay, let's just say guard let token equals session dot see auth token. Otherwise return guard let secret equals session dot secret right here, else return. And now we'll just plug in the token and secret into our credentials. Next, plug in credentials in here with this completion block of user and error, like that. Okay, so having set that up, let's just check the error first. So if let error equals this error guy, we'll just print out fail to log in to Firebase with Twitter, and then we'll print out the error, finally returning if we are encountering a login error. At the very bottom, we'll just finally say print successfully created. So created a Firebase Twitter user. And why don't we print out user.uid if we have it. So this user is just up here. Firebase passes us back what the user actually is. Let's run this application now. I think it's going to do that. Let's just see if this will get rid of the warning. I hope it does. So let me just build that project to confirm the warning goes away. Okay, we're going to log in with Twitter now, and I'm going to check the console down here. And it's going to tell me that the given sign-in provider is disabled for this Firebase project. And make sure to enable it inside of the Firebase console under sign-in method. So My current Firebase project is this right here called Firebase Social Login. Make sure you guys are logged into the right project here and go to authentication and sign in method, Twitter right here. Click the little pencil button. You want to hit the enable and API key and secret. These two values are coming from the values of consumer key and consumer secret. So I'm going to paste the key right here, grab the secret and paste it here and hit the save button. So having done that, we can try to log in one more time. So let me just get some space here. Let me hit log in with Twitter. And now at the very bottom, it says successfully created a Firebase Twitter user, which is the print statement right here, which let me just drag that back. Is going to print out the user ID as well. So having done that Twitter login, you would expect to see the user show up inside of your users tab, which in the second row right here, it doesn't have an email, but you'll notice the providers column has a Twitter birdie icon. And November 18th is today. So this is the actual user that I've set up with my simulator inside of Xcode and iOS, the simulator. So one kind of gotcha that you have to watch out for is sometimes you won't be able to sign in with the simulator with this login button. And it is something that you have to configure inside of this simulator, just like your actual iPhone device. You need to go to the settings, hit the Twitter right here, and then sign into the application that you obviously want to verify your Twitter credentials under. So if you don't have this set up, it's probably not going to work. So, give it a try with your actual device and also the simulator to verify that everything is working properly. And that's it. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I know the process probably will look a little different for you guys because I've set this up so many times, I've probably left out a couple of steps here and there. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Give the video a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. In the next episode, we'll probably talk about either GitHub OAuth or how to actually convert an anonymous user into one of these social provider users inside of Firebase. So hopefully you'll stick around for that. The source code for today's project and everything you saw in the video is available in the description below. Make sure to leave a comment or anything that you want to discuss in the comment section below. Hopefully I'll get around to answering your questions. And that is it for today. Hope you guys keep on coding, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.